I'm Annie. Have you ever had school lunch? I bet you have. Over 1,000 students are served daily at Apple Valley. Whether it's a pizza or salad or cookies, most food comes served on these styrofoam trays. But why? Should they be? What are the environmental and economic benefits and cost of using styrofoam versus its alternatives as serving trays, and which is most preferable to Apple Valley in the future? Styrofoam, or expanded polystyrene foam, is made up of hydrocarbons and is over 95% air. However, the EPA and the International Agency for Research on Cancer both suggest that styrene, its monomer, is a possible human carcinogen, which means it could lead to cancer, which is great considering your food is being served on it. Styrofoam isn't just harmful to your health, but it also isn't very environmentally friendly. Most recycling facilities don't accept styrofoam, so the majority ends up in landfills where it just sits. Since it's not biodegradable, it won't break down naturally. In this experiment, we'll be looking at 3 different types of serving trays. The first being these styrofoam trays that are currently being used. The second being any type of reusable tray that needs to be washed, either hard plastic or glass, plates and bowls. And the third being compostable trays. For most of my data, I just sat down with Becky Holter, a food and nutrition manager at Apple Valley. And she just told me kind of the pros and cons of each serving tray and why we chose to use styrofoam now. Starting off with the compostable trays, Apple Valley actually did for a number of years use compostable trays in the past, however chose to switch back to styrofoam for a number of reasons. Those being they were a bit thinner than the styrofoam ones, so they were a bit flimsy and kids would take multiple. They also were sticking together, so when you're in line it's hard to separate them to get your meal quick, and Becky Holzer told me that kids prefer to just go in and out of the line so they can get their food quickly. Furthermore, they cost more than the styrofoam trays. It costs around $20 more to buy 500 compostable trays than it is to buy regular trays. So if there are 1,000 kids going through the line daily, they spend about $40 more on the trays every single day, and if you multiply that by the number of school days, it adds up to be a pretty big difference. So the cost was a pretty big factor on why they chose to switch back. The pros for the compostable trays are pretty self-explanatory. They are biodegradable, so they naturally kind of recycle into the earth or wherever they're going. So even if they do end up in landfills or weren't sorted properly. Additionally, you are teaching kids to be very aware of every single product and packaging that they use. So moving on to reusable trays, whether that's dishes or a hard plastic tray that a lot of elementary schools use. They are environmentally friendly, not completely environmentally friendly, but they are being reused over and over, so you aren't purchasing more trays every single day. Additionally, the use of reusable trays will introduce almost a homey feeling to the schools, since the majority of people use dishes at home and are reusing them and washing them. It creates this almost home environment. However, the cons of using reusable is that although that there is an initial cost and that will level out since you're not purchasing more, there is an increased cost for water bills since you are washing them, and there will also be an increased cost for the number of staff needed to wash them and separate them and sort them, so they'll be paying more people to do that. And also Apple Valley doesn't have a huge lunchroom compared to other schools, so it might be difficult to have every kid sort the tray at the end of the lunch period. In conclusion, I discovered that styrofoam trays are the most economically ideal serving trays for our cafeteria. However, moving forward, I think administration should consider whether the message that is being sent to kids that we shouldn't really be environmentally conscious during lunch is equivalent or worth the economic or financial savings of using styrofoam trays.